Hello and welcome to the Awaken Feminine podcast. I'm your host, Kaki Lee, and today I'm excited to be interviewing Sara Garofalo, an Ayurveda health and life coach and a whole living expert, teaching women around the world how to stop dieting, lose weight permanently, enjoy the foods they love, and become the healthiest versions of themselves, all whilst doing the latter. I don't know about you, but as someone who loves her food, this sounds like an absolute dream. So I first met Sara in one of the many online courses that I love doing, and now we're in a powerful women's coach mastermind together. A fellow mama of two with a brilliant mind who is passionate about helping and supporting other women. She's a beautiful woman inside and out who has so much love and wisdom to share. Do I have you there, Sara?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. Hello, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me on the Awaken Feminine podcast. Before we start, can you share with us, where you're joining me from?
I'm joining from San Luis Obispo, California.
California.
So even though I'm from Italy, I'm here in California right now.
Love it.
Yeah.
You're a long way from Italy.
I am. There's the ocean.
Yeah.
Across the ocean.
And I'm 15 hours ahead of you over here in Perth, Australia. So you're talking to your future, which is always find fascinating. I know it's a bit lame, but I think it's really cool that, we can connect so easily with people all over the world nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sara, let's dive right in. So I did a very brief intro of what you do, but can you share with us, your journey on how you got started in, natural therapies and sharing that knowledge with the world?
Totally. Thank you for asking, because actually now you're going to love this story, because how I started, I had in Italy, so I was very young, at a young age, emotional eating disorders, and I started binge eating at the age of 16. So I started gaining a lot of weight, and then I went into dieting.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I lost the weight, but it was very restrictive, and that actually hurt, I would say, my thoughts, my mindset, because that was a journey that took me to the other path, to be really skinny. And I had a lot of issues with body image around those years. Didn't matter what other people would tell me, right? So I started traveling at a very, very young age.
Yeah.
About 18, 19. And at 19, I was in Australia.
Oh.
I went and I spent a year there. And that's when my spiritual journey began and my healing, because I lived in an ashram for about 4.5 months.
Wow.
And, I was meditating 3 times a day. I was very meditation in action dancing at night, but all of the spiritual and awakening, powerful shifts that happened. So I met a traveler that was studying Ayurveda at that time. So she came and did a workshop. And that's when I first got introduced and realized that we are different mind-body types. And that really helped me to understand who I was, who my strength, my weaknesses.
Yeah.
And from there, I started reading books and decided to join an online program while I was traveling. So I started, that's when my path began.
Wow. That is such an amazing story. So, going into natural therapies was, you quite a young age, and now, you're also a life and health coach as well. So, how did that kind of transpire?
Yeah. So I have to say, I've always felt there was a different reason why we become ill, why illness show up in the body. I've always had that thoughts and belief, because I grew up in a family where if you had a headache, you needed to take a medicine, right away. Or if you had a pain, just take Advil,
Yeah.
take anything. And I was just like, this is wrong. Like I maybe was going through a rough time and then something physical would come up. So I was like, I think there is something more here.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely, like I've always been interested in that. I've always been searching for herbs and natural supplements. And now what's happening is that I decided to become a health and life coach, because to be honest, the helps that I got from even the most amazing dietitian through my journey, like didn't really get to the root cause of what was going on with me. And so what's happening is that I really help women with overcoming their body image and healing their relationship with food with Ayurveda, and also healing their deepest traumas, because we're mind, body, and spirit, right?
Yeah.
There is that connection, interconnected connection.
Yeah.
And we need to really be aware of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think as a society we don't really get the whole mind, body, and soul connection. It's quite a new thing, for a lot of people, and a lot of times until you kind of get to that point where you are completely broken down and, in depression, you don't really even look into that, that side of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. I totally agree. We don't really, we put it in a box and then we either cope with other coping mechanism, but we don't really sit there and be like, oh, what's the cause of my depression today?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Zara, what were you doing as a career before you got into natural therapies and become a life and health coach?
I was a massage therapist.
Yeah.
So my journey kind of started at the same time, and then before actually getting into the life and health coaching, definitely was doing body work and working with energy. I mean, it's still body work. I feel like it's still very amazing. Like I love it. I love practicing. I love doing it. It's energy work for me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of energy work. But definitely it wasn't sustainable in it was too much energy. I had to say I had to and plus there's everything. Like I love it because it gave me the opportunity to work on someone's body and see actually what was going on, and then these people would actually open up and talk, and I was like, oh, there is a lot more here. The more they would open up, the more the body would open up, and then pretty much I was coaching them in the massage therapy session, and then I was like, I think I'm going to take this route and really embrace what's happening.
Yeah, totally good. So it is, quite a similar, still in the health and wellness space. So was there a particular catalyst that made you go, oh, I'm going to go into, life and health coaching? Was there something that, really you just had that, oh yeah, I'm going to just go and do it instead of doing what you were doing?
Yeah. So the aha moment happened when I was pregnant with my second. And I remember I was in my third trimester and I just started researching because I was like, I want to go either to university again or I need to do something here. So I started researching keywords, and all the keywords like holistic and coaching and herbalism, all the things that I was interested in. And then I found like, oh my God, I can be a health and life coach. And I already have the Ayurveda part, the Ayurveda knowledge, and I can combine everything. So I remember being a month away from my due date and signing up to become a health coach. I remember that point. I was going through birth and then postpartum and like starting to become a health coach. So it was pretty interesting how it happened.
Oh, I love it. But, well, I think when things just set you on fire, like where you're just so wanting to do it, you just do it no matter what, right? So I love it. It's the determination is amazing.
Well, you feel it, right? When
Yeah.
something is right, I just felt it. And that gave me the fire to go,
Yeah.
and the energy to go through birth and postpartum and still studying and creating my website in like less than a month because I was so fired up. I just
Wow.
create the whole thing with like her on my lap, you know, it's like
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, I love it. Like
Yeah.
amazing moms that just kind of just get shit done, right?
Right. You
Yeah.
have to, right?
Yeah.
You can't just
It-
like, you
it's
have to do what
actually
you have to do.
easier when they're a baby because they don't move. And they,
No, exactly. So she's
yeah.
just laying there,
Yeah.
nursing.
Yeah.
You're a little bit sleep deprived, but you can get through it with
Yeah.
determination.
That's right. So, Zara, you were talking before about, your spiritual awakening and how that happened in the ashram,
Mm-hmm.
that you were in. Can you give us a bit more details about, what, what your mental state, what your life was at that time and, the big, the wake up that you got?
Well, I have to say that I was first introduced to an environment of pure meditation, pure silence, pure journey within. Even though I wanted it and I kind of practiced it while I was in Italy, I have to say that that was the starting of my journey within. So you're kind of you're in silent, like literally we weren't really talking to people.
Yeah.
We were feeling, we were meditating. So that really it really helped me to meet the first of my inner self and healing through my traumas that were connected to my emotional eating. And the people over there and the leader over there, the guru, really helped me to dig a little bit deeper on what was the relationship with my parents at that time.
Yeah.
And realize that some of those traumas were kind of showing into the emotional in the relationship with food.
Yes.
So I have to say that meditation and quiet and understanding the mind and the heart, because we did a lot of exercises to understand what are the stories of the mind, what is the mind telling you that you believe, and what is the heart and the emotions and how to be heart-centered.
Yeah.
I
love that. That's
definitely
really
very spiritual.
Yeah, really cool. So having gone through, your journey really, so what is your personal mission? What are you here to do on this earth right now?
Great question. No, I know the answer. My mission here is to help women heal their relationship with food, lose weight naturally while they keep enjoying the food they love without starving themselves, and heal their deepest traumas that's preventing them from losing weight.
Yeah.
And it's the two go together.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
Yeah, I love that. It's just so awesome because there are so many women like out there, including myself, that struggle with permanent weight loss. So it's just amazing because, I'll lose weight and they'll put it back on, lose weight and put it back on, but it's not that, permanent solution. So that's really cool. So we'll come back to, how you can work with Zara at the end of the show. But right now, I just want to go even more deep and personal with you, Zara, because, So on the Awaken Feminine, my mission is to really share the love and wisdom of women and how they got through the adversities in their life. So Zara, I know, you talked about, your binge eating and your relationships, with yourself and, your parents and how it all kind of emerged into your binge eating and then losing that weight. So is that the biggest challenge that you experienced, or was there something that was even bigger, that was more challenging, that led to, your biggest breakthrough?
There was something that led me to the biggest breakthrough of my life. And that was the relationship that I had and the divorce. I started a year and a half ago with a narcissist. And if many of you knows what a narcissist is, I believe it's a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
It truly have dig deeper and dug deeper the past year and a half to heal myself.
Mm.
That was the biggest breakthrough of my life, my
Wow.
entire life. Yeah.
Wow.
Because yeah, I have to say that when you are in a toxic relationship, you separate from yourself.
Mm. Yeah.
You completely are broken into pieces and you are not yourself anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of women can relate to that because I myself have also gone through quite a toxic relationship in the past, and you're just a completely different person. You're just not you anymore, and you don't trust yourself. It's a very it is a very spiritual experience to work through that trauma. So, Sara, what's the, biggest lesson you learned from that, that experience?
It was the meeting myself again. Finally, I was able to bring the pieces together of a broken soul that was broken and really learn to love myself from the inside out. Not like I'm sitting here saying I love myself, I'm giving myself a bath time, right? Like truly like understand who I was and coming into self-partnering and self-partnership with myself. I think that's the biggest lesson that came to me, because right now, no matter what happens in my life, I know that I have myself.
Yeah.
I know that no matter what happens, like I am me, and I don't have to give if I don't want to. I don't have to do something that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, it's a strength, right? It's what gives us having you.
Yeah. And that's just so inspiring. And, anyone that's going through that right now, I hope that, shows you that, you can come out the other side a stronger person. When you're in the situation, a lot of times you're like, what is happening? And you feel like you're just stuck there and can't move. But, people have gone through it, and, you can too. So, yeah, that's really beautiful lessons that you share. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sara, can you share with me like some of the tools or teachers that were really helpful in your healing process? So, what did you do to really work through that, challenge?
Yeah. So what did I do? What did I do was a lot of inner work and trauma release. And what happened when you do that is you don't just self-medicate or okay, I'm sad, like this happened to me, put it in a box. You really go deeper into where that trauma comes from. So it's a lot of subconscious work, because I needed to go deeper, because I had at the end of this relationship, and many of women like that are going through, you come out, you're not yourself, and you're so triggered, like you have PTSD. You have anxiety, you have major like nightmares at night, and that's not living. Like you can barely eat. The way you come out of this, or the way you come out, is to dig deeper into the triggers and the traumas and the fear. And the only way to do it is to face them. I always tell the analogy of Harry Potter and Voldemort, because he faces the demon, or whatever demon I'm talking about a little bit, whatever your fears are. I had to face them and go really so deep that they were gone. Yeah. And it's a lot of subconscious work, but it's a lot of trauma release work. Yeah. That really helped me to reach this spiritual awakening that I feel now. Yeah.
It's so beautiful that, you've come out the other side, and just such a stronger woman with such, a big purpose, that you've set for yourself. Is there, with all the tools and the healing that you did, was there a particular book? I love reading. So is there a particular book that, that really changed your life?
Yes, it was Eat, Pray, and Love by Oh my God, I read it before the title. Elizabeth Gilbert.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The author. Yes. And I read it before traveling. So I remember reading it and watching the movie when I was 18 or
Yeah.
17. And that changed my life because she went through a divorce, right? I don't know if have you ever
Yeah,
watched
I've
it?
read it. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
book.
I read it. And then she starts traveling. Of course, she goes to Italy to eat, but
Yeah.
she really starts her self-healing journey.
Yeah.
And that's something that I was like, so inspiring. I was like, I'm leaving. And everybody was like, what? I'm like, I'm going
Yeah.
traveling the world. So definitely
Yeah,
the big part.
especially at such a young age, people are probably like, what are you what are you doing?
Yeah, my parents almost fell off of the chair when you said that.
Yeah, I bet they would have. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I love Elizabeth Gilbert. I just actually finished reading her book, Big Magic, which is really awesome as well, if you haven't read it. So,
I haven't.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So, Sarah, I know a lot of people in the world right now are like navigating a lot of change, with everything that's happening in the world right now. And actually, I found that a lot of people are starting their awakening journey. So,
Mm-hmm.
what advice or recommendations would you have for them to get rid of any limiting beliefs or any fear that is holding them back from, even starting that journey?
Yeah, so the biggest advice that I would give to someone is one of my favorite quote by um I think is Ryan Holiday, that says that the everything that you've ever wanted is really just outside your fears.
Yeah.
And that means don't be afraid to feel it. Don't be afraid to face the fear. And the biggest advice is to do a lot of your mindset work, your gratitude journal. Because to be honest, I felt it was a joke when I started reading it and hearing about it. And I was like, no, like, okay, like spiritual journey, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it, started meditating, even if it's for 10 minutes, and facing everything that's coming up. And that's the biggest advice that I can give to anyone.
Yeah.
It's priceless how it reprograms the
Yeah.
brain.
Definitely. Mindset work is so, so important. I think if you ask anyone that, what they did to get through the other side, it's really working on their mind, because that is, the biggest thing that holds us back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. The stories we tell ourselves. Huh?
Yeah. Love the stories we tell ourselves sometimes. And you're like,
Right.
that was, yeah, no. So,
Exactly.
Lara, if you could travel back in time and, go back to a younger version of yourself, what advice would you give yourself?
What advice? In relationship to anything, like to my younger self,
Yeah.
I would give the advice to not be afraid, to not act out of fear.
Yeah.
Because I've made decisions that were fear-based rather than fear-based of like the consequences of what fear of judgment, to not act out of fear and owning the feelings and owning my no's if I had to say no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not act out of fear, act out of love.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to lose people, because sometimes that was my fear. Like, you're afraid that if you say no to something, you're going to lose the momentum, you're going to lose that person.
Yeah.
But in reality, it might not serve you, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's the biggest advice I would give myself.
Yeah. I love that. That's so beautiful. And, as a busy mum of two, we as mums, really, we tend to, put everyone else first and not put ourselves first. And, when we kind of go, oh, we're feeling a bit off, then we go, oh, right, we need to sort ourselves out. So what are your top 3 go-to activities to make sure you give yourself some self-love?
Yeah, totally. I mean, every mom, I think, feels like that, right?
Yeah.
We but the biggest, and I have to say it from experience, because I did not take care of myself with, especially my first, burning out, by like literally burnout. And then I would say bath time. That's my me time at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Self massage or massage, not because I was practicing and giving massages, but because it really helps to relax all the little tensions, and to journal or practice mindset, because I think it keeps the sanity when we can't deal with that anymore, or we're burning out, or we just get so nervous throughout the day with the spouse or the kids, or I feel like the meditation keeps us grounded.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you for sharing those tips. And, you're doing such amazing work, right now. So what really right now is setting your soul on fire?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's a very great question. My mission.
Yeah.
What's setting my soul on fire? I mean, of course, love for my kids, right? I wake up every day. There's two loves right now. Like, I wake up for them,
Yeah.
and like conscious parenting, and I teach them Italian. We cook together, but also my purpose and my mission to help women really understand how they can make peace with food and enjoy the food they love without restricting themselves, and healing their deepest traumas like that every day. Even though some days they want to throw everything out the window, I
Yeah.
still wake up with the same fire, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm here for this reason.
Yeah. I love that. So, Zara, if people want to find out more about you and how they can work with you, where should they go?
My website is www.loveholisticliving.com. And for people who want to be my private Facebook community, they can join me. My group is called Weight Loss from the Inside Out.
Okay. Great. So thank you so much for sharing your love and wisdom with us today, Zara. All your details that you've shared with us, I will put them in the show notes so that, people can find you and, get your help if they need to. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was an amazing opportunity.
Awesome. So until next time, everyone, I love you. I believe in you, and you're worth taking that first step to the life of your dreams. Bye.
Bye.